Hello and welcome to all the viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global TV. Live in the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Edikan Michael. President Bola Tinubu has approved the renewed Hub Infrastructure Development Fund to bridge the country's $25 billion per annum infrastructure funding gap. The new initiative will be domiciled in the presidency. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, told journalists after a Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Idris said that the fund became necessary given Nigeria's current infrastructure gap, requiring 878 billion naira to bridge between 2016 and 2040. This is a study that was made that said Nigeria will require about $878 billion between 2016 and 2040 to bridge the infrastructural deficits. The federal government has held foreign service officers for launching the Academy of International Affairs. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated that the Academy had the potential to make improvements in the management of Nigeria's foreign policy. Shettima, who spoke at the inauguration of the Academy in Abuja, added that it emerged at a period when it was needed most. Shettima told the foreign service officers that Nigeria needed their input in addressing some of the challenges it is facing. And now the federal government has concluded plans to train some newly recruited personnel of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory at the School Safety Protection Squad to all cases of abduction of school children from their schools. The commander of the National Safe Schools Response Coordination Center, Ahmed Abdurin, discloses just at the Defense Headquarters said troops rescued 137 abducted pupils of the Early Year Primary School and the Government Secondary School, Kuriga, in Choke local government area of Kaduna State within Sambar State. This came as President Bola Tinubu welcomed the news of the release of the Kuriga school children as well as the release of pupils of the Sangaya School in Sokoto State, commending all the parties involved in the feats for their valiant effort. The federal government has said that no ransom was paid to free the pupils who were abducted from Kuriga village in Kaduna State. This was revealed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, during the Federal Executive Council meeting presided by President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. The minister applauded President Tinubu, the National Security Advisor, the service chiefs, and everyone else who made a significant contribution to the kids' release. The minister added that President Tinubu has directed security services to step up their effort to put an end to nationwide kidnapping crisis. The Leprosy Mission Nigeria, in an effort to provide sustainable psychological support and referral service to communities experiencing distress, have commissioned a toll-free call center to address the crucial need for accessible mental health services. Our reporter Fauzia Lukman tells us more.
In an event that sees the network of support from all stakeholders in the disability community, the Leprosy Mission Nigeria commissions a call center to assess critical needs to mental services for persons with disabilities in psychological distress. While commissioning the center, the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Special Needs and Equal Opportunities, Honorable Mohammed Abba Isa, says the center represents a beacon of hope to individuals often marginalized and overlooked.
The establishment of this call center represents a beacon of hope for those often find themselves marginalized and overlooked. It is a testament to our commitment to ensuring that every citizen, regardless of their background or circumstance, has access to the support and resources they need to treat. But today we say no more. Today we take a stand against stigma and discrimination. We affirm our belief in the inherent dignity and worth of every human being. And we declare our unwavering commitment to building a society where everyone has the opportunity to live a life of dignity and fulfillment.
The Leprosy Mission Nigeria TLMN National Director, Dr. Sunday Udo, speaks on the crucial aspect of overall well-being as other stakeholders appreciate the inclusivity.
As we all know, mental health is a crucial aspect of overall well-being. It is a facet of healthcare that unjustly receives less attention than it deserves in this country. In fact, globally, but worse in Nigeria, particularly when it comes to those with disabilities. Combating the stigma and discrimination associated with mental health has been an ongoing battle, and today we stand strong to fight that fight.
In the NTDs, we know the importance of mental health, and that is the more reason why we are developing or reviewing our NTD master plan. Mental health was captured and incorporated. I want to assure you that the NTDs program will collaborate effectively with you and support you all the way. Thank you and God bless you.
Today is a great day to be a person with disabilities because the journey of 1,000 miles has just commenced. What do I mean and why are we here? For the first time in the history of the disability community, we have a hotline, that's what I choose to call it, a hotline where we can call in and have our well-being, our mental issues, because you see, one of the major issues of disabilities that is not addressed in this country is the post-traumatic stress disorder of disabilities, especially for those of us who acquired disabilities, who were not born with a disability. Now we have a number, 0800 005060 that you can call and then have some level of a high level of interaction that can tell you what the challenge you're facing is, how you can navigate through the challenge, and what the future can hold for you with that challenge.
Psychological distress knows no boundaries as it affects anyone regardless of age, gender, or socio-economic status. Fauzia Lukman, Global TV News.
Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno has approved the appointment of 168 assistants and 104 board members for the 15 agencies and commissions of the state. This is contained in the statement issued by the Secretary to the Borno State Government, SSG Alhaji Bokar in Maduguri. It said the appointees comprise of 9 senior technical assistants, 18 senior special assistants, and 78 special assistants. The SSG also listed 104 others as chairmen and board members of 15 agencies and commissions. The appointment, the SSG said, was done based on powers conferred on the governor by the provisions of Section 2089 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. You're watching News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, when Star Times Channel 276 Kali follows on all social media platforms using our Global TV NG and all the handles are shown on the screen. When News Cycle returns, CBN direct BDCs to sell dollar at 1,269 Naira. These and other stories coming right after this break. Stay with us. This is live broadcast of Global Television coming to you from Abuja. Anytime you will stay with us. At the first scene, supporters of the opposition candidate Baziru Faye have rallied in the street to rejoice over the candidate's early victories in Senegal's presidential election. Faye's victory is coming just a week after his release from prison, but his main rival from the ruling coalition insisted that a second round will be necessary to ascertain the winner. The winner will have to steer Senegal, viewed as a beacon of democracy in cool-heat West Africa, out of 3 years of turbulence and a political crisis, and manage revenues from oil and gas reserves that are shortly to start production. Uncertainty remains over the outcome of the unprecedented vote, with official result not expected before the end of the week. An absolute majority is required for the first round win. 4 weeks, President Joe Biden and his senior officials have been losing patience with the way that Israel is fighting the war in Gaza. They have used increasingly stiff language to convey their displeasure to Israel and the wider world. The decision to allow the latest ceasefire resolution through the Security Council shows that President Biden has decided that strong words are not enough. Removing diplomatic protection from Israel's conduct of the war is a significant step. It shows the depth of the rift that has opened between the White House and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And now the UN Security Council has called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza after the U.S. did not vote the measure in a shift from its previous position. It also demanded the immediate and unconditional release of all those stages. It is the first time the Council has called for a ceasefire since the war began in October after several failed attempts. The move by the U.S. signals growing divergence between it and all allied Israel over Israel's offensive in Gaza. The Francis Scott Key Bridge in the U.S. city of the Baltimore collapsed after a ship collided with it, the Maryland Transportation Authority said. The collapse due to ship strike, and they posted on the social media platform X referring to the interstate highway. It urged drivers to avoid the route over the Patapsco River, which is called an active scene. Earlier, the MTA had said interstate lanes in both directions were closed due to an incident on the bridge and that traffic was being redirected. A police spokesperson from the Baltimore Police Department said that people were possible in the river. Florida State Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill that will prohibit children younger than 14 from joining social media in the state. According to a report, those who are 14 or 15 will need a parent consent before they join a platform. The bill also directs social media companies to delete the existing accounts of those who are under 14. Companies that fail to do so could be sued on behalf of the child who creates an account on the platform. The minor could be awarded up to $10,000 in damages, according to the bill. The French Interior Minister has launched multiple anti-drug crackdowns, reflecting the government's commitment to show it's serious about tackling the drug trade and crime in cities ahead of European elections. The French Interior Minister announced multiple nationwide anti-drug crackdowns, reflecting the government's commitment to show it's serious about tackling the drug trade and crime in cities ahead of European elections. Interior Minister Gerald Domain said that the police unit conducted raids and made several arrests in the northern city of the Lille. He said the authorities are going to multiply the operations that we have prepared for months to hit very hard. In business, the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment has directed all applicants of the Presidential Conditional Grant Scheme to submit their national identification number as part of necessary requirements to obtain a grant and marked to cushion the effects that recent economic reforms have had on businesses in the country. The government, through the Bank of Industry, had said it will be disbursing 3 categories of funding totaling 200 billion naira to support manufacturers and businesses across the country. It said the new rule was based on the new regulations from the Central Bank of Nigeria, directing Nigerians to link their national identification numbers with their bank account. It added that only verified applicants will receive this notification, and NINs must match the applicant's name for the process to proceed. The European Union, in continuation of its commitment to supporting the federal government in providing clean, affordable and sustainable energy for all, has introduced 2 new projects worth 9 million euros in Nigeria's energy sector. The EU disclosed this in Abuja during a project's inception workshop organized in partnership with the federal government and the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. With a population of over 200 million, had an electricity consumption per capita of 147 kilowatt hours in 2022, while South Africa, with a population of over 60 million, boasted of electricity consumption per capita of 3,566 kilowatt hours during the same period, according to the World Bank. And according to the Central Bank of Nigeria, the country's average per hour data stood at 3,689.700 megawatts in September 2023, as it continues to struggle with low power generation and poor distribution infrastructure. The Central Bank of Nigeria has disclosed that it will be allocating $10,000 to each bureau de change operator at 1,251 naira to $1. This was contained in a circular made available and signed by the bank's Director of Trade and Exchange Department, Dr. Hassan Mahmoud. The Apex Bank directed that each BDC to sell the dollars to eligible customers at a rate not exceeding 1.5% above the purchase price, implying that the BDCs are not expected to sell above 1,269 to $1. On July 27, 2021, the CBN discontinued the sale of foreign exchange to BDCs, accusing them of trading forex wholesale amounts greater than $5,000 in contravention of their licenses and Nigeria's foreign forex regulations. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria revealed that it's proposing a memorandum of understanding with the United Kingdom's Financial Reporting Council that will allow its members to obtain audit qualification rights in the UK. In a statement, ICANN said that the move was premised on the fact that accounting and audit practices have become global. And if the proposed MOU between ICANN and FRC is signed, ICANN members can engage in an audit in the United Kingdom. The idea was mooted during a visit to the UK Financial Reporting Council, led by ICANN President Dr. Innocent Akwoza, as part of his activity for the 11th ICANN UK International Conference. Now, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Commandant General Special Intelligence Squad has uncovered a massive illegal oil refining site at the forest in Odagwa community in a Che local government area of Rivers State. The site comprises over 10 illegal refineries with an estimated of 500,000 liters of crude oil contained in about 50 illegally constructed reservoirs. While 5 suspects engaging in the illicit acts were arrested, a spokesman for the NCDC Rivers State Command, Olufemi Oyodele, disclosed this while parading the suspect and conducted newsmen around the site. Federal Executive Council has approved the institutionalization of a 10% youth quota in all government appointment and equitable young women representation. Dr. Jamila Ibrahim, Minister of Youth, disclosed this at the end of the 40th Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. She said that the Council also approved the restructure of the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund and the revamping of the Youth Investment Fund. Kikele Mokere tells us more.
The Minister of Youth says the quota will encourage young people to participate in decision-making process and in civic engagement.
We have received Council's approval to institutionalize a 30% youth quota, a 30% representation of young people in all government appointments, and an equitable young women representation inclusive of this 30%. Well, this will go a long way to address the long marginalization and exclusion of young people in decision-making, and will also go a long way to encourage young people to participate in decision-making processes and in civic engagements. This will in turn lead to young people contributing tremendously to national development.
Meanwhile, FEC has approved the setting up of infrastructure fund to be known as Renewed Hope Infrastructure Fund. This followed a projection that Nigeria will require over $878 billion to bridge infrastructure deficit in the country.
Wisdom of Mr. President and magnanimity, so to say, of the Council that they've approved the establishment of Renew Hope Infrastructure Fund as the catalyst to actually drive our infrastructure agenda. So this innovative fund consolidates existing resources to drive economic growth and connectivity across sectors like transport, agriculture, aviation, and education and other social.
The Federal Executive Council also approved the construction of 28 roads and bridges across the country worth over 1.2 trillion naira. The Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, says the projects were approved by FEC, having gone through the Bureau of Public Procurement and Certificate of No Objection secured. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Now, the federal government confirmed the outbreak of ginger blight epidemic in 4 states in Nigeria, adding that ginger farmers have lost over 12 billion naira due to the disease. It discloses the inauguration of the National Ginger Blight Epidemic Control Task Force in Abuja revealed that the fungal disease had inflicted significant damage on ginger farms in Kaduna, Nasarawa, Plateau, and Federal Capital Territory. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Abdullahi, said that the blight had caused billions of naira in losses, impacting not only livelihoods of farmers, but also Nigeria's position as the world's second largest ginger producer. The federal government has deducted over 415 billion naira from state government allocations to service their external loans. This was according to the data from the Federal Account Allocation Committee, the SMOSMEN report published by the National Bureau of Statistics. The deductions were made between 2019 and 2023 from the allocation given to state government from Federation account. The Federation account is currently being managed under a legal framework that allows funds to be shared under three major components: statutory allocation, value-added tax distribution, and derivation principle. The federal government has donated truckloads of grains to the Kano state government for distribution to the needy. The donation consists of 100 trucks of rice, 44 trucks of sorghums, and 4 trucks of maize. The donation arrived just as the state government said it has begun an investigation into its ongoing Ramadan feeding program in the state. State Director General Media and Publicity Sanusi Tofa disclosed this to journalists in Kano. He said Dangote Foundation also supported the state with 120,000 10 kg bags of rice. Minister of Works David Umahi has mandated the redesign of the Onitsha bypass for the second Niger Bridge due to flaws and overestimation in the initial design. He says the dumping of the initial design has saved the nation 300 billion naira. This is as the minister directed contractors working on federal road projects in the southeast and south-south regions to accelerate work while ensuring compliance with contract specifications. In a statement by his media advisor Uchenna Oji, the minister discovered the defective design of second Niger Bridge bypass in March 24 while on an inspection visit to the rehabilitation of Enugu-Port Harcourt dual carriageway section of Aba-Port Harcourt undertaken by China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation. The federal government contacted the International Criminal Police Organization and issued an arrest warrant for the apprehension of one of the detained executives of global cryptocurrency firm Binance, Nadeem Ajewala, who escaped from the lawful custody. It was also gathered from the Office of the National Security Advisor that Ajewala, a suspect in the probe into the activities of Binance in Nigeria, used a Kenyan passport to escape while his colleague was still in custody. The escaped Binance official, who was British and Kenyan nationalist, escaped from Abuja through the Middle East airliner, as his firm in Nigeria confirmed that he was no longer in the country, adding that the company would cooperate with security agencies. The federal government has initiated proceedings against Binance, a prominent cryptocurrency exchange platform, over the tax evasion. The charges were filed at the Federal High Court in Abuja by the Federal Inland Revenue Service. These implicated Binance with 4 tax evasion accusations, adding that it was a decisive move aimed at upholding fiscal responsibility and safeguarding the economic integrity of the country. Charges levied against Binance include non-payment of value-added tax, company income tax, failure to file tax returns, and complicity in aiding customers to evade taxes through its platform. In the lawsuit, the federal government also accused Binance of failure to register with FIRS for tax purposes and control regarding existing tax regulation within the country. On entertainment scene, veteran Nollywood actor Amechi Umanuga has died after a prolonged illness at the age of 62. Is said to have suffered kidney failure and was on dialysis. The sudden news of his demise comes just a few days after a viral video where he solicited funds to help him have a kidney transplant. He was an actor and producer. In 2016, he was nominated for the AMVCA 2017 Best Actor in a Comedy. His death comes weeks after that of his famous colleague John Okafor, known as Mr. Bo, passed on. On the sports, English Premier League giants Chelsea are preparing to make a 7 million euros bid to ensure the transfer of Napoli striker Victor Osimhen in the summer. According to Italian newspaper, the Blues are set to launch a bid of 77 million euros to acquire the services of the Nigerian striker at the end of 2023-2024 football season. The report also suggests that Napoli president Orli may consider accepting an offer below Osimhen's 130 million euros release clause, given Osimhen's desire to leave the club. The Nigerian international recently signed a contract extension until June 2026, and the new deal includes a release clause of 130 million euros. However, Martino claims that he could accept an offer below the release clause, given that Osimhen has already expressed a desire to leave the club. That was the package on News Cycle. Many thanks for staying with us. I am Edika Michael. See you again.